right, testing 1 2. Pete, you got me?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. All righty. Well, happy Earth Day to you. It's Saturday, 4/20. Let me be the first. Wait, what's that? It's 4/22. Well, every day is 4/20. It's Saturday, 4/22. Let me correct that. And I lost my spot here. I wanted to do a funny joke, and I lost my spot. So every day is 4/20. Am I right, Pete? Welcome.
Right.
Welcome to the RC show. A couple of RC addicted dads bringing you the world of RC through our lens. Or we'll say the algorithm that Elon and Facebook wants to show us. That's how we're bringing you RC. Through the algorithm that we see on a daily, and we are sharing it with you all. It's going to be an exciting night tonight. If this is your first time joining us, we welcome you. We have a great guest with us tonight in the green room. A man, very young man, Wyatt Mellon, here to talk about all things Axial. He is one of the product engineers behind the Axial Pro build from Horizon Hobby, recruited to work on the RTR flat rail. Yeah, that's right. I said RTR. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I triple dog dare you. Smash that subscribe button. And we encourage you to stick around to the very end, because tonight we are going to give the fourth and final letter. And we've got other prizes to give away, but you guys stick around to the very end for all those announcements and giveaways. We'll take care of all that in a little bit. But for right now, live from the Northeast, it's Saturday night.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
We are go for launch.
We are go for launch.
3, 2, 1. Ignition.
Oh, that was fantastic. It couldn't have gone any better. It's your boy Mike, a.k.a. Munster, coming to you live from Carryall headquarters, home of the RC Bug-Out Bag. Plenty more to come on that later. Reminding you all to keep the blue lights on. It is Autism Awareness Month, and all month long, and all year long. Not even just in April, people. Remember, autism's 24/7. So to all the loved ones out there that are blessed with somebody on the spectrum with the gift of autism, leave the blue light on. We do it here in support of autism, and I just need to tell you all, with great fun comes great responsibility. The man next to me, making the magic happen, like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, my brother from another. Peter, how the hell are you?
Good, man. Happy to be back. Exciting guest tonight. Very excited to learn more about this pro build that's been taking the internet by storm. But big Axial fan, and very excited for our guest. And yeah, busy week, a lot going on. One thing I do want to bring up to everybody is we have not found our winner for the FMS giveaway from last week. So Mike and I were discussing that if the winner does not come forward by Wednesday of next week, next Saturday, we're doing a live drawing. We're getting this FMS given out, and somebody's going to go home with a smasher. So once again, we're going to give the winner that won last week till Wednesday to come forward. If he or she does not, then next Saturday, we're doing a live drawing. and look for our posts, and somebody will go home with a smasher. Like Mike said, at the end of the show, we're going to give the last letter, and somebody's going to go home with a CowRc Radrcahow show branded pit mat set. Thank you, CowRc and Heath. And we want to thank our title sponsor, Element RC, and also our headliners, RC CarAction FMS. For a list of our full sponsors, check my recap post tomorrow. You'll see a complete list of our sponsors. So yeah, Mike, big, a lot to get to tonight. A lot to discuss. Our guests, we got RC news, we got scale mail, we got a lot of stuff tonight. And in the chat room, before we move on, we got our buddy Jeff, Fish and Bill, Asian UGRC, Matt Thompson, Paul Roth, J Teams RC. Thank you guys for tuning in live. I'm sure people are trickling in, and yeah, Mike, what a great guest we got lined up here.
Peter, we got one of our newest sponsors with us in the chat room tonight, Fishing Bill. Fishing Bill, Peter, I think we have some photos lined up that we're going to share a little bit later on in the show. Fishing Bill is our newest sponsor that we've added to the Rad Show, and we are super stoked to have him. Thank you so much, Bill, for all your support. He did a special Rad RC show body, painted in our theme colors with the Rad logo on the side, donated it to Beat the Creek as a giveaway in honor of the Rad RC show. So, Fishing Bill, thank you. Stand up and take a bow, homie. We greatly appreciate that kind of love and support, getting the name out there. That man's on the grind. Thank you, Bill. And we are a big fan of his work. I mean, I'm rocking the new SCX 24 cliffhanger body for this secret little micro build that I'm working on right now. We're converting it over to portal axles. We got all the stuff in from Treal. We're super pumped to get this thing done, but it's because of Fishing Bill and all that he has done. In honor of 420, we'll come back to 420. In honor of April 22nd, Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, everyone. And another big shout out to Operation 11 Charlie and our veterans. We salute you and all the hardworking people doing what they do for the veterans home with PTSD. Again, we dedicate tonight's show in honor of the Operation 11 Charlie and all of the good people in the Operation 11 Charlie family for doing what you do every Monday night on YouTube. Please, Monday nights, get over to Operation 11 Charlie, support them, and when you're at Beat the Creek, stop over, leave a couple dollars in that bin for me. I double, triple dog dare you. Leave a $5 bill in that booth at Operation 11 Charlie. Starting it here, I triple dog dare you. What do you think, Pete? That's a good dare, right? See how much we can raise for Operation 11 Charlie and all the good people over there.
Yeah, great foundation. I mean, I remember when they started, and seeing their growth over the years. Fantastic organization.
Absolutely. So on the lighter side, why don't we, before we bring on the guest, we always like to kind of loosen things up with a silly dad joke. When you get an RC Addicted Dad show, so many times I trip people up. They're like, I didn't even know the Rad RC show was an acronym for something. That's right. It is an acronym for RC Addicted Dads. Now, you don't have to be a dad to be a guest on the show, but we are a couple of dads taking some time, the little limited free time that we have to come to the RC world to decompress and have some fun. So, like any RC Addicted Dad show, we're going to bring you a little humor with the joke of the day. Here goes my joke. I thought that the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Here, Pete, it's been the refrigerator all along. I tested it out on my wife last night. I had her on the floor laughing. I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. No, it's been the refrigerator all along.
Again, better and better.
Yeah, oh boy, that's a silly dad joke. So, according to Time Magazine, if anybody out there it wants to know where the slang for 420 came from. I did a little research. Since on April 22nd, that's the official day, there wasn't a lot happening. We'll rattle through this real quick. April 22nd in 1970 was the first Earth Day. As a 54 Bravo chemical operations specialist and veteran of the U.S. Army, this meant something to me, a little somber, but in 1915, World War I, the German forces were the first to introduce chemical warfare.
Wow.
That happened in 1950, a little somber. So I was like, after I got to that one, I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing any more garbage for April 22nd. So it made me look back at 420. And did you know that the slang 420 started in 1971 by a group of high school students? What they would do is every day at 420, they would meet behind a like a bleacher down in the high school football field behind the bleachers at 420. So this became their little code every day at 420 between five guys. Well, how do you get that to go viral? Well, the Grateful Dead are the ones to thank for this. In 1990, a group of Grateful Dead heads, some fans, started spreading the word. After reading this in High Times magazine, this story about these 5 high school kids talking about 420, the Grateful Dead fans decided on April 20th at 420, on 420, at 420, let's smoke 420. And from that moment in 1999, the slang term stuck for 420, and that's how it all got going from there on. So there's your little bit of fun facts, a little bit of humor. What do you think, Pete? Is it time to get down to business and bring on our guest, because we know everyone is here to meet the man. The man,
Yeah.
the young man. I have to warn you all, people, when we're going to call him a man, but he is a very young man by age. But just because he's young by age does not mean he is lacking anything in experience. So get your pen and paper ready, because this guy is going to be talking way above all of our heads right now with his knowledge, his experience. Get your pen and paper ready. Have your questions ready to throw them at Wyatt. And I am super pumped to hear the backstory behind this guy. So, Pete, let's fade out here with our screen. Wyatt, this is your 1 minute warning, 30-second warning. We're coming to you right now, boss. We're going to bring you on to the live stream. But before we get started, Wyatt, oh, my bad, Pete, I tripped you up there. We double tapped the same button at the same time. I'm going to move him center screen. Boom. Wyatt, how are you, sir? Welcome to the Radrcahow show.
Thank you very much. Yep, doing great.
Fantastic. Now, this has been, honestly, probably 2 months, I would say, of preparation, trying to lock down a date that we could make both of our schedules work to get you on. But the good news about that is there has been no downgrade in temperature in the climate for what you have started. You kind of broke the internet. With this Axial Pro build, we'll just address the elephant in the room right out of the gate. So we knew you were going to be coming with a little show and tell. But Wyatt, before we get rolling really fast into this, let's take a step back and give you a minute to really introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. What are your credentials? What makes Horizon Hobby handpick and recruit someone with your caliber?
So my name's Wyatt Mellon. You're saying young man. I'm 25, so I'm getting up there, but still pretty young.
Compared to us, you're half my age, bro. I'm still calling you a young man. You got to put another 20 years before I call you anything else.
Yeah. So credentials, I have a bachelor's in engineering. So that's my school I went to. And then before that, I got really lucky with a high school program and started 3D CAD design, 3D printing, welding, plasma cutting, a bunch of shop things like that at freshman year. So I'm just over 11 years in CAD design experience now, which is pretty cool to be able to say at 25. And the relationship between Horizon Hobby and I started just over 2 years ago. I went on their website under careers, applied like anyone else could do, and then I just started bugging them. I think I called them every other day for about a month until I got an answer. So
Wow.
I knew that's what I wanted, and I really just have a passion for RC, and I thought that would be a great career to put my passion and, you know, what I went to school for together and be able to bring products to the market.
Fantastic. So obviously you've got the experience, the schooling. You are a huge benefit for Horizon Hobby. There's no question. How about some of the family history here? You have a long history in the one-to-one scene, correct?
Yes. So pretty much, I mean, I got my first motorcycle when I was 1. It sat in my room. I was told when I could ride a bike, I was allowed to ride that. So it was pretty early. And then all throughout there, my aunt and uncle would race enduros. My parents would race enduros on motorcycles. One of my uncles drag raced. I'm part of a really large dune buggy club here in Southern California. So we go out main holidays. We have about almost 200 people that show up on big weekends with hand-built dune buggies. Nothing you buy, everything's custom built. So I've been a part of that. My grandpa raced dirt bikes, raced oval, did some drag racing, and he does classic cars and all of that too. So I just grew up with a bunch of gearheads, and it stuck, and I'm glad I did. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, that's fantastic. So obviously you spent some time out there in the desert racing since a very young age. That's exciting. I would kill for that kind of fun. I'm super jealous right now.
Yeah. So yeah, from 4-buying in the Jeeps to dirt bikes to UTVs, sand drags. I mean, you name it, pretty much in the desert, me or my family have done it all.
So when you're 10 years old and most kids in the neighborhood are goofing around, you were honestly kind of already honing your craft and setting a pathway for your adulthood, learning these great experiences. And here we are today.
Yeah, as a kid, I'd say around that age, probably riding my BMX bike around, building dirt jumps and RC cars. I remember I took skateboard trucks off my skateboard and a piece of plywood and conduit so I could tow my RC cars with my bicycle to the local park to play with them. So it started early.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So Wyatt, a lot of these experiences when you were younger were setting you on this pathway to bring us to present day. We have the Axial Pro build, which you showed us here. What is so special for somebody who's watching the show right now that might not understand what the Axial Pro build is? In layman's terms, it is a flat rail RTR. So I wore my flat rail scale fail shirt for you just to kind of throw a zinger your way. It is a flat rail. This is breaking the internet for the comp scene because this, what you really don't care about here, but at the end of the day, what leads to sales, we are growing the comp scene by giving new people an opportunity to grab an RTR and compete with it. And why is that so important is because we wanted to bring you on here. Why? Because you literally spent how long? I want you to tell me exactly how long you spent behind the wheel of this car before it came to market. Put people's minds to rest. Like, this thing has been road tested and proven to work. So we really want to know a little bit about the R&D. Like, what goes in? Where do you begin? What is step one, and how do we get to a prototype build that you can actually drive?
So it's really cool how Horizon Hobby works. The engineers work really closely with product developers, and we're really open to different ideas. We all get to share them weekly in different meetings, and everyone throws their ideas out, what sticks or variations of. And so it actually started, this pro started when we were testing the SCX6. So I had only been hired or working there for maybe a month. And so I had a personal crawler I built while I was in college. I designed it, 3D printed it, sourced CNC tables to get chassis rails cut and beadlock rings. And I really just pieced this together. I had gears from probably 3 or 4 different manufacturers, different couplers I went and machined on lathes, and I really just pieced it together. So I took that truck to an SCX6 testing session and showed that to Rich and Todd and a few of the other guys, and they loved it. They said, you know, that's something we need to do. And that's really how this project started. And it was off to the races a few weeks later. Design scope, okay, what features do we want? You know, what's our market? Where are we headed with this? And that's the beginning. Ran through that. We got our design scope finished. So I knew I had my list of things that were on this build. And it was coming from what I had previously built, which was really cool. And I spent months designing it, making sure everything was I liked on the computer. We 3D printed some things, rapid prototype, just to get our hands on them. We'd make sure, you know, yep, this is what we like, this is what we're expecting. Then I go into 2-dimensional drawings, so I'm giving dimensions and tolerances of every individual part on the truck. And that then gets sent over to our vendor we work with. Everything gets manufactured over the next couple months. We get samples in, and then we measure each individual part, make sure it's to our drawings with our dimensions, our specs, within tolerance. Then we assemble them, and once everything there is good, then we start running. So all of that's happening in the background. And I ran this truck for a little over a year before it was even announced. So that's taking it all over the country, different competitions, different trail events, just as simple as, you know, trying my best to hide it and be able to run with my buddies, but a lot of individual testing, just me out in the rocks all alone, which is tedious sometimes, but you know, it really pays off to get that time under its belt and make sure we're coming out with a good product. So it was a long process. I'd say about 1.5 years process for this project alone, not including my personal work that inspired it.
Yeah, because I guess that's where things start to change a little bit, because we're talking about tooling and box art and all the stuff that goes into a normal build. But what was so unique about this particular one was the amount of R&D that had to go into testing. I think a lot more testing went into this than any other traditional RTR. That is not a fact. I'm just taking a very bold, educated guess with that statement, that it just makes sense that this kind of testing needs to go into it.
So this, to my knowledge, this was the first crawler platform that we've ever tested, Horizon, that being Horizon Hobby or Axial, that has been public, but not public information, if that makes sense.
It makes 100%, because the majority of RTRs that are going to hit the market is going to, I'm sorry, I just got distracted by that note. The majority of RTRs that are going to be released by any brand, they're not so much specifically worried about road testing it as much as something like a comp truck would be. A lot more of it would be, I'm not going to just say the show, but more the scale, the appearance, and make sure it works. this makes tons of sense that you want to make sure it is going to crush the gates and work.
Yes, there we put a lot into testing in our RTRs as well. I mean, so several months goes into it, especially if it's a new chassis like the SCX 10.3 or a Capra that is coming from a SCX 10.2. So if it's a new chassis, new platform, a lot of testing time goes into that. But this was really, we wanted to make sure this hit all the dots if we're going out, putting this out there as a competition ready level kit. And I said the only way to do this, in my eyes, is to put against the competition and drive it. And does it last? Does it work? What do you want to change? How would you tune it? And I did all that over a year span. And the kit setup you see in the manual is the setup I run. That's
wow.
That I get a lot of questions about that. You know, it's okay. The manual says here, where do you run your shocks, or what oils do you run? And I made sure that how I ran it for the last at least 6 to 7 months of that testing period, and how I still run it today, is that kit setup.
And now that the cat's out of the bag and you don't have to keep a towel hidden over it and tell people not to look over here, sometimes hidden in plain sight is the best way to do it. But now that the cat's out of the bag and it's out on the market, it's been track proven and gotten a ton of great feedback from well-respected people. We got the Team Garage Hack family in the comments in the chat room here watching, and we knew
guys?
Those guys are a huge freaking fan of you and what you've done with this pro build, and gave you so much respect. That's a huge badge of honor for yourself, and said that the truck has proven it. And it's good to hear coming from other people's mouths, more than just the R&D guy. Like, other people are saying, oh yeah, it's worth it.
Yes, there's a lot. When it got released, before people got in their hands, there was a lot of speculation, I think, that, you know, is it really as good as they say, or is it going to keep up with the competition? And, you know, some people knew that I was running something, but they didn't know quite what it was, or if it would even be released, or if it was a personal project or under Axial name. So they knew that I had been driving something. And
Right.
I think like the TGH crew and a few guys that I see at quite a few national comps, and, you know, support those national competitions, might I add, they saw something. And I'm glad that now that it's out, you know, I love seeing the comments. I follow every single page I can about it on Facebook. I read everything, and the comments are, you know, the people that, hey, I took it to my first comp today and I placed, or just that I took it to my first comp. You know, that's what I just love to see. That's what this was for. You know, get people into that side of the market and see what they can do. And, you know, you can still build a trail truck out of it. It's not a competition only truck. And,
Sure. Okay.
you know, it's really cool to see it out there and see where it's going. And I hope I can, you know, keep rolling with that, and maybe make another one someday.
I think you touched on something that piqued my curiosity there, and what you said about social media and watching comments. The day when a truck drops, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on a Tuesday in the, you know, of some week. Here comes the secret, the cat's out of the bag. Most of the time we knew it was coming, we were anticipating it, but what I'm excited to see is not so much the truck. I knew it was coming, but to watch the comments, and everybody is excited to take their thumbs and bash on their phone and let their opinion out there. And most of the time, it's not usually warm. It's usually some hate bash session about something because, you know, it's purple instead of red, and, you know, it's got the wrong size wheels and something out of scale. But was there any inspiration with the amount of flat rails that are out there? There is a ton of companies out there making wonderful flat rails. there was one rumor floating around that it was kind of a copy of another flat rail. Was it inspired by another brand out there? Was this completely your own design that you came up with?
So the SCX10 Pro is completely my design. There may be similarities to other chassis, but it just happened to be a similarity. I've actually never even owned or driven another company's chassis.
Let me stop you there, Wyatt, because I'm very RC noob here when it comes to the comp side. Like, driving between gates does nothing for me. I'm not into the comp scene. But I see this in the 3D printing world. Somebody gets their pennies all in a bunch because a 3D company printed a soccer ball. And then another 3D printing company says they printed the same soccer ball as me. And this one says, no, I printed that soccer ball first. At the end of the day, people, a soccer ball is a soccer ball. When you look at a flat rail, I do see a ton of similarities. Not saying that they're copies. I'm saying I see similarities between all of them, especially when we start making them out of the same material, because at the end of the day, is the formula the same for every flat rail? High approach angle, low center of gravity. Does that, with that same formula, get you this ability, or is that what makes them all kind of look similar, and where somebody's going to say you copied my design? Or am I wrong?
There's a lot of variance that goes into geometry setup, and that has to do with if you're running a straight axle or a portal axle, to say. So if I were to design a chassis for portal axles, there would be different holes, different places for anti-squat, anti-dive, roll center, how low, what's your skid plate height at ride height, what's your approach angle, your departure angle. There's a lot that goes into it. There's only so many ways, though, to cut a flat rail chassis. So I think a lot of them might look like a similar shape, but the holes wouldn't necessarily line up. So there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of the chassis manufacturers, they spend their own time doing that, and they do their homework to get their chassis how they want it. And that's what makes it different from, the different manufacturer to the next. It's all going to be on their personal preference, or some of them have team drivers, their team driver's personal preference. So there is variation. At first glance on an internet page, they may look similar.
Thank you. Between a different drill hole, an extra hole somewhere in the rail, or a logoing stamped on it, but at the end of the day, they all have a soccer ball ancestry in some way. Okay, I think what you're saying is I'm 100% right, and I'm super smart. No, we can split hairs here, and where you're getting technical is you're breaking down each individual build, and now there's different classes, and between what type of setup you want to do with a straight axle or portal axle, or what class and what size tire, things start to change a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're running your very own your very own design.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a question.
We got a design.
Yep.
We
got a question.
Yeah. Let it rip. That's what we're here for. This show is produced and scripted for our guests. Like, this is why we do this week after week. We encourage the people to comment and ask your questions, please.
So this question's from Nick's Hobbies channel. There seems to be a shortage of pro kits on the market. Was it a small batch release, and are more getting made as we speak?
This is why you're here, Wyatt, because you broke the internet, and this kind of excitement for this truck, I don't think anyone was prepared for them to fly off the shelves like this. Axial and Horizon are both dumbfounded. Hobby shops across the country that were trying to order them for their shelves are cleared out, and everybody was saying, I bought 5 of them for my hobby shop, gone. Like, never expected these to fly off the way they did. So you can go ahead. Was it a small batch? Is there more to come? I think that's where we need to say. Can we
There-
give these people a date yet? I knew it.
There's more to come. I can guarantee that there's more being made as we speak. I know that the first batch, it was nothing more than they sold better than we expected. So obviously I was all for it. I said we should have ordered more, but I'm not the salespeople. I don't know the numbers. So, and I'm really excited about it and I'm into it. So I think, of course, I think a bunch are going to sell. And it turned out that they did, which is awesome. I love it. I can't ask for anything more. People are getting them, they're building them, they're all over the country at this point, and more being made as we speak. And I hope everyone can get their hands on one or at least see one in action and check it out.
We lost your audio.
Oh,
We lost your audio. Yes.
can you hear me?
No, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. While he's getting his audio, we have another question that came in. I saw some criticism from folks around the skid angle. Can you say why you ended up with a 3-ish degrees over something steeper, 7 to 10 degrees? What is the downside to a higher skid angle?
so the skid angle I landed on is 3.8 degrees. It's kind of not really a round number,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, you're back.
at ride height, with the testing I was doing, that makes the skid plate almost parallel with the lower links in the rear and also with the front. So you kind of get a clean slope from front to back of the truck. And I don't know if you kind of see it there. So it gives a pretty good slope. And I'm used to driving flat skid plates. I came from an SCX 10.2, SCX 10.3, and it was really a matter of driving them and then just look at the bottom of the truck. Okay, where are the most scratches? At the back. Okay, well, there's two things you can do. You can shorten the skid length, or you can angle the skid, or arguably a third thing is move the skid further forwards, which is a lot of what we're seeing right now. There's a lot of different companies coming out with a forward skid. I landed on that number. That's what I liked while I was testing. I did try flat. I tried more of an angle. And that's where I landed. I think it's arguably a personal preference thing. I knew it had to have a little bit because my flat skid was just hanging up. And as soon as I did that, I did notice a difference. I went a couple degrees more and didn't notice any difference. So, and I knew I wanted to connect the motor mount to the transmission. So I didn't want it to be too far off to where you couldn't use this setup in another chassis, or if you wanted the selectable underdrive or something like that. So a lot of into my design was, what can the consumer do with this? So, okay, if you want to put these axles, what work does it take? If you want to modify it to fit this body, what kind of work does it take? So a lot of that went into the design as well. If you get too far, I think it's a pretty standard, like that's a comp truck and you're not getting a lot of scale stuff on it. So I wanted to be all around trail comp, everything, do it all truck, but main thing, have everything in one box and you can go to a comp and know you have a comp ready, comp level truck.
So out of the box, when you're happy to, when you're going to go get this one, and actually we need to correct me on something. I keep saying RTR. This is a kit, correct?
Yes, a kit.
Okay. So slap my hand. It's not true RTR. This is a kit build.
Now I'm going to get messages. Was he hinting at there's an RTR coming?
Right? Oh boy, here we go. Well, I have doubt that Horizon is going to continue to work with you with this type of feedback and huge kind of excitement around what you've done. I think this is a great first stepping stone. You planted yourself here to be here for a long time. So great job again, Wyatt. You're doing fantastic.
We got
Thank
another
you. What I-
question that came in from Facebook because we're streaming
Yeah.
to multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Where can we get this 3.8 skid?
So the stock chassis out of the box is 3.8 degree angled skid, measured from what would be a flat skid plate. There are other aftermarket options I'm seeing pop up that are more or less angle. That's personal preference, however you want to build your truck and where you're running. Terrain has a lot to do with that as well. But out of the box, it's a 3.8 degree angled skid.
Is there a YouTube channel or anywhere that you've done anything, Wyatt, to post some tips for the person that needs to build their kit? Maybe what you've done to build yours. Is there any setup tips out of the box that you would share with people somewhere?
I know I have done a few interviews or about me pages, and those are found on the Axial website.
Okay.
Normally, if I get a message about an SCX10 Pro on my personal Facebook or Instagram, I answer it. If there's something that, if it's wanted, I can do a video or pictures or something on it. I've honestly never been asked about it. So
I just thought maybe a tech sheet or some kind of tech setup of maybe some tips or tricks of what you felt has been road tested and proven, and maybe ways that you would suggest people build their kit. But
yeah,
we know now that we can get a personal one-on-one experience with you and message you for tips, then you're asking for trouble.
Hey, that's okay. I'm just as excited about it as everyone else is. So
Love it.
I'm driving them probably once a week. I'm building them differently. I have one with capper axles for rear steer. I have one with AR45 portals. I've got the stock one that has axial option parts on it that I've been running in class 2. I love them. I'm out there driving them, and I'm in the shop building them just like you guys are. So if you're asking questions, it's probably one I've already had or I have an answer to for you, and I'm more than happy to help. So
you're collecting them. You're the reason why we don't have one.
I have the photo sample and 2 original test rigs.
Okay.
And so I'm working on more, but like a lot of people, I have mine on back order.
Suffer with the rest of us. I love it.
Yep.
All right, Wyatt. This is when we're. Go ahead. Let it rip, Pete.
Let's see. Bow, you're an accomplished driver with a lot of wins last year. What's the biggest technique mistake you see other drivers make?
I love it.
Tech tip.
Technique. What's the biggest technique mistake?
Oh, technique.
you see
So
other drivers make?
driving courses, driving comps, the biggest thing that helped me and I really started to see an improvement was to trust the line I saw. So before you run a course, you walk the course, or you can watch other people run. And I would watch a bunch of people run. I would walk the course several times, and I always had 2 to 3 ideas on every gate. Well, when it gets down to it and you're on course, you have points and you have time and you're under pressure, sometimes those 2 to 3 lines formed into one that was in between them, and it didn't quite work out. Or you saw another guy do a line and you go, okay, that's the one I'm going to do now. And I just went back to, okay, I'm going to walk the course twice. What I see is what I'm going to do. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll have to make something else on the spot. And that works a lot better for me because I know my plan and I don't second guess it. So I think you can get through courses a lot quicker like that. And you just have that much more confidence in your run because that's your option. That's what you thought of. And you're not getting psyched out about other lines that you saw other people, because everybody has a different truck, that's set up different with different foams and tires and weight. And so just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you, or vice versa.
Roger that. I like that idea. Trust your gut.
Yep, trust yourself. Then you know if it doesn't work, then you know exactly where your start point was, and you can move from that going forward. But if you don't trust yourself and you're just looking a lot of other people and trying to put something together from what you see, it's hard to come back and make like a hard reset and go, okay, where did I go wrong? Well, now you got to recall 6 different things you saw, not just the one.
And we got another one. That's a great one. Great answer. One last question here before Mike goes into his next segment. Do you have any kind of estimate on a date when local hobby shops will get more of the kits in?
I can only say what I was told, and I was told early May.
Early May.
So that's what I was told. That's what I can tell you guys.
They've been talking end of April for the longest time. So I would say
I know.
early May.
I know the option parts just shipped. So people are starting to get carbon fiber rails, brass knuckles, aluminum hubs, carbon fiber servo mounts, all that good stuff. I know those just shipped.
So that's all coming. Those option parts are all coming from Horizon or Axial,
yes,
whatever.
From Axial. I designed all those option parts for what I would want to run on my truck, and I run a kit with all the option parts. That's what I've been running for over a year.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, let's take a pause.
You squeeze one more in. Are you working on a portal kit in the future?
It's gone through my head. I have a design in my head. Basically, it's gonna be if I can get it approved and on the books. So we're busy over here working on other projects too. But I want to, if it's up to me, and then I would like to offer a portal option too.
Great.
Is the kit, the Pro Build, you've said in your personal collection you're running some with portals already. Is the kit set up to run portals that easily?
So I'm running Capra portals on my class 3 truck right now. It's still in testing stages, but I just unthread or thread in the rod ends a little more to get the caster and everything lined up, and my Capra axles bolted right up front and rear. So it's doable. I also bolted up AR45 portals off the SCX-10-3. The only link that needs to be custom or modified is the panhard link. Other than that, it bolts right up and has good caster. Everything works. So I've been trying to build them just like anyone else might have in their head. That's a cool kit, but I like portals. Well, AR45 portals and Capra portals work.
Fantastic. Pete, let's pause here. We're not going to let Wyatt get out of the hot seat. Like every other guest, Wyatt, we pull a little segment during this show called This or That. I'm going to throw out, Pete, you got your segment up there. Peter, try and pull in some Jeopardy music. We're going to set the time clock for 1 minute. This is fun, Wyatt. There is no wrong answer here. I'm just going to give you 2 examples. For example, Samsung or iPhone, and you just simply give us an answer. And at the end of this, we're going to try and get a better understanding of what type of person you are behind the scenes and on a daily. I mean, we see the Trump flag flying behind you already. We got the USA flag. I mean, I'm staring at the background behind you, trying to get a read on what some of these answers are going to be. But Peter got us out of the gate here with our Jeopardy music. Can you hear my mic and hear the question? I didn't ask a question yet. Can you hear me over the Jeopardy music?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Do you prefer to call or text?
Call.
Do you prefer Christmas or Halloween?
Christmas.
When you go away to an event, are you a hotel or are you out in the camping tent?
Hotel.
Do you like 6 scale or 1/24 scale better?
6th.
If you had the choice between going to the bar or go to church, what would you do?
Church.
Pizza or Chinese food?
Pizza.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
If you were in Vegas, would you play the slot machine or blackjack?
Blackjack.
Are you a Lexan or a hard body guy?
Oh. Lexan.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Ketchup or mustard?
Neither.
Brushed motor or brushless?
Brushless.
Are you a Jeep or a truck guy?
Truck.
Would you rather win the lottery or meet your soulmate?
Soulmate.
Would you rather build a truck with a flat rail or a C-channel?
Flat rail.
Do you prefer the snow or mud?
Snow.
Chicken or tuna?
Chicken.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Are you a cat or a dog person?
Dog.
Do you like sunrise or sunsets?
Sunset.
Guacamole or salsa?
Guac.
Do you prefer Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Samsung or iPhone?
Samsung.
Hunt or fish?
Hunt.
College football or NFL?
Neither.
Are you a wrestling fan or MMA fan?
Neither.
Heavy metal or country music?
Country.
A UFO or Bigfoot?
UFO.
Fox News or CNN?
Neither. I don't watch the news.
Okay. Crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth.
Do you rock an air guitar or air drums?
Drums.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos.
Law and Order or CSI?
Never seen either.
Wow, no TV for this man. A double backflip or a front flip?
Front flip.
BMX, racing, or freestyle?
I did both. Come on, man.
I got these ready for you, bro.
BMX
You
racing.
got it. All right. A crotch rocket or a Harley?
Crotch rocket.
Surfing or skateboards?
Surf.
Would you rather on a 3-day weekend have off on a Friday or a Monday?
Friday.
That is it, Pete. He passed. That is the segment called This or That. That lets us fly through a little lighter side of what makes up someone like a Wyatt Mellon and what makes him tick. Was that fun? I get a kick out of that
Man,
each week.
those were stacked questions.
I know. Well, I had someone for Brian Parker the other week. Golf or frisbee golf? Like if you know the guests a little bit, you can kind of tee them up a little. I knew he was going to go for that frisbee golf that he does all the time. Oh, so Wyatt, where can the good people of the RC hobby expect to rub elbows with someone like you? Can we find you at Axial Fest, Badlands? Are you Beat the Creek? Where can we rub elbows with you this year? Are you expected to go to an event?
Yeah, I have a bunch on the calendar. I have definitely Axial Fest West. I know I went to Badlands last year. I don't know yet this year. It's kind of still up in the air.
Super
Definitely,
Shafty?
I'll be there at Super Shafty. I think my third or fourth year with that. I love that. Try and go back every year. I'll be at Worlds in Maine, and also RMRC, Rocky Mountain by TGH in Colorado. I'll be at that one.
By the fire? By the fire? By the fire?
I think that's the same weekend as Worlds.
No, don't tell me that.
Yep, I'm bummed, but I'm pretty sure, without double checking on my calendar, I'm pretty sure that's the same weekend.
Bummer. Listen, the hobby's grown so much. Any given weekend anymore, there are 2 or 3 events at any given time. It's so hard to kind of choose, and then let alone if they're not the same weekend, they're week after week after week. Trying to bounce from one end of the country to the next to get to all these events, it's not easy. I mean, isn't King of the Streets happening right now? Isn't that in Vegas?
Yep, there's drag racing and drifting, I think I heard this year. So
wow.
Super G, I think, put together a drifting segment, which
nice.
Pretty cool. I just got into that recently, so.
No kidding. I had that question on here and I skipped it. Son of a gun. What have you messed around with the Red Cat one at all? The new Red Cat drifter?
I've driven a stock one, ready to run, a kit built up with other electronics, and also a kit with an aftermarket chassis and suspension on it.
Are you a fan?
Driven a few of those.
Good.
Definitely has potential.
Okay.
The car I drove with the aftermarket chassis and some work done to the suspension. I think I picked it up after about half a lap at Super G. So I know there are a bunch at RCX as well.
Okay. Oh, were you at RCX?
Yes, I went there Saturday. So I was there for one day.
Okay.
There's also back to the event thing. I think there's a Clash event happening in Vegas this year. So I'm definitely going to be at that one as well.
Fantastic.
Yep. So if you guys want to come out, make it out to Vegas, drive some toy trucks, that's the time.
Well, I think we're going to land in Vegas. The idea is we're coming out west for By the Fire at this point, and I think the little hidden secret is land in Vegas. The plane flights are cheaper, and we'll drive in the 3 hours it takes to get to By the Fire.
Yep. Yeah, just down the 15 there.
Yeah. The last time I went to By the Fire in 19, we landed in LAX, which was a little longer car ride, but it was by design. I was like, I'm going out, I'm landing at LAX, I'm going to try and get on TMZ. I figured they're going to be waiting for me when I come off the plane, so I got to say hi. I really wanted to see California Highway Patrol. I needed to see Chips out there on their bike, and I needed to see a Lambo, and I checked all 3 boxes. We had the time of our... Yeah, it didn't take long. As soon as we got out of the airport, my first Lambos, hit me in the face. I'm like, well, that was check 1 box. And to be able to see the ocean on the other side of the country, it just kind of... It feels different. I'm like, it's cleaner. It's a neat vibe. And that's one of the great things about this hobby. And me as a peon being able to just travel lightly and get around once in a while, nowhere to the level amount of travel, and I mean, it's your job, obviously, but you've got to be just super humbled and super stoked to be able to take your passion and do this for a living. I hate to say it again, but I'm jealous. But I'm not saying I could do what you do. This is best left for the experts. So I'll stick to backpacks and trail walking and leave the comp stuff to the pros. So Wyatt, we know where you're going to be. Is there anything else that you want to leave the world with as far as a teaser, what we could maybe expect? Now, you gave us aftermarket support. Some carbon fiber stuff, some aftermarket parts are coming from Horizon. You're working on some things behind the scenes, obviously, that you're not going to be able to disclose. Can you at least leave us with 2023 is going to be good?
Yes. 2023, I definitely still have things I've worked on that are to be released. And 2024, I'm already working on something for that year for you guys.
Bravo. Well, you know, I'm PayPal ready. We're ready to play, and I'm excited. Peter, do we have any comments that we missed in the chat room? Any closing questions that we need to throw at him?
There's a couple.
Perfect.
What was the gearing change for the portal swap?
So I put the stock gearing in it, the Capra SCX-10.3 portal gears and stock ring and pinion, but I did put the base camp, I believe base camp spur gear is 6 teeth smaller. So that helps the gear ratio a little bit and it fits right up. And then ran like a 15 or 16 tooth pinion. And then I have the 2-in-1 2300 kV, and on 3S it seems to do the trick.
So spur gear and pinion and get the right kV motor.
Yeah, I think an 1800 would be a little low. You'd have plenty of torque. Just the wheel speed to, either roll yourself back over when you're on your side or, get a bump up, I think would be a little less than I would prefer. So somewhere in the 21 to 23, 2500 range, depending on what systems you're looking at, is what I would recommend. That's even what I run on the straight axle, just out of the box. The Pro axles is a 2300 kV. You can just run a smaller pinion.
Well, I definitely appreciate that because I do have a set of portals that I've been sitting on here that I've been kind of thinking in my head we're going to go right on this Pro build right out of the gate. I might be changing that train of thought after talking to you. We'll experiment. Maybe on my second Pro build, I'll go that direction. I might just keep this straight axle after talking to you tonight.
Yeah,
Do you have? What would you recommend? Would you tell people go portal, or would you tell people to stay straight?
I prefer straight axles. So
Okay.
I only run portal axles in class 1 because of the tire size, the 4.19 max tire size to get that ground clearance back.
Okay.
And then class 3, I've been running Capra portals just, I think, purely because of the width. I don't have an XR or Capra with straight axle yet, maybe.
What do you think of the micro scene? Are you a SCX-24 guy?
I worked on the AX24. That was fun. I'm a big rear steer fan, so that was a great project. I have a few of the 24 SCX24s. I've really only built one up, that aluminum housings and brass and motors and servos and all that jazz, the fun stuff. But I don't get as much use out of them as I do the 10th or 6th scale. So.
Okay, let me to the next question. You're a fan of the 6th scale, the big boy?
Yes. Yeah, I'm working on a 2-door JLU with rear steer right now.
Nice.
So yeah, I love the
cool.
SCX-6. That was the first project I was on when I got hired for Hobby. So they just threw me right in there and prove what you got, kid.
Well, gee whiz, every time, like these new cutting edge projects from when they took the leap to a 6th scale, when they went to a flat rail, it's really exciting to be having, you a part of all of this stuff. And now you're telling us that you were part of the rear wheel steer project on the micro. We really have to give Wyatt a huge round of applause for continuing to throw all this fun stuff at us. Pete,
Little disclaimer, the SCX-6 project was well on its way. I just came in at the end to do some testing and, a few revisions on parts for durability and clearances, things like that. But
Roger that. And when we talk about you as the product engineer, I was trying to use my words very carefully and say you are one of many. There's a handful of you guys collaborating and working together, and I like how you don't take credit and say me, me, me. It takes a small army sometimes to make these things happen.
Yeah, there's two main engineers for the Axial brand, including myself. Travis and I are mostly doing work for Axial, and occasionally our manager will step in and just to get a different view. Maybe you can put a pin in this way instead of that way, and they'll make this mold different, or just things experience wise, and maybe coming from the TLR side, and he has a lot of experience. So it's mainly Travis and I, and then we get a little fine tuning. And then that's where the Axial brand is at right now. So Travis and I are always busy working on crawler stuff, trail rigs, and whatever personal projects we have going on.
I love it.
We got two.
Peter, anything else?
Yeah.
Let them rip.
We'll do these last two. What pinion would you recommend that I run with my stock kit and a Fusion Pro 2300?
I run the pinion that's included in the kit. So I think that's a 14 tooth that's included. That's what I've had best luck with, and I went up to like a 16 tooth, like I was saying earlier, when I put portals on.
Okay.
But yeah, with the 2300 2-in-1, whether it's the Fusion from Hobbywing or the Spectrum 2-in-1, I run the 14 tooth pinion. And like I said earlier, what is in the box and the kit setup where it tells you to put your links and where to put the shocks and the oil weights and everything, that's all what I run. So there hasn't been any deviation from that other than adding the axial option parts.
Awesome. Next question, Wyatt. Do you have any extra weight up front versus stock on your Pro kit?
Just the brass knuckles from Axial and the aluminum C-hubs from Axial. Other than that, there's no added front weight. Aluminum wheels, which will give you a little more weight than a carbon or G10 or plastic wheel, but nothing added from there. No slugs and fancy knuckles with inserts or tire inserts with weights, nothing like that. So that was a tech tip. It's also on the Axial site in the interview with me. I prefer, and I kind of learned pretty quickly once I got in the comp scene, putting everything forward in the chassis isn't necessarily the best thing to do. It also depends how high up in the chassis it is. So a lot of my stuff is centered front to back and side to side in the chassis, and the only weight is on the axle up front.
Yeah, bravo. And obviously, would this come down to the type of driver that you are? Would that also make a difference if you drive a certain way? Would that make a difference on the way you'd want your truck set up?
Yeah. So I tend to drive pretty quick. I like getting through gates and pretty fast in between gates on a comp course. And that's where the lighter shock oil comes in. I know there's been a lot of comments about people upping their weight to 50 to 60. And I don't think that's a bad idea at all. For slow crawling, just creeping, see if it'll grab the line, it takes a little longer for that suspension to unload. And at a higher speed, it doesn't compress fast enough to come up and articulate to the terrain. So there is a little bit of that. I've experimented with running 42.5 weight in the rear and 35 in the front. I've tried that a little bit, and for the slower crawls, that does help plant the tires better. And then I also have helped or am working on building a truck that's a little more front weight bias, about like a 65-35 as opposed to a 60-40. and I did notice a performance gain on that as well. So if you're building your pro and you have scales, I would say about a 65-35 front weight bias. Try and get everything you can in the middle of the chassis, not up high in the front, which seems kind of backwards, but that's the best I've had my truck running is like that. So, and everyone drives differently, and you have different terrain. Sometimes it's wet, sometimes it's muddy. My rock is always dry in Southern California, so that's a big difference alone right there.
Well, and that's a valid point. The rocks do change from coast to coast dramatically. You guys are driving on Velcro out there. I've seen my truck hang upside down.
One pack and your tires are broken in.
I peeled my truck off the rocks out there. Like, give me a thing back.
Yeah, I've had to take a wheel off to get it stuck out of a crack before.
It's amazing when you see some of these people on the West Coast when they crawl up rocks. It's like it don't move. It just goes like, it's amazing.
It is. I love it. So really, the lesson I'm taking home today, the biggest, most important thing I took, Wyatt, you shared so much useful information with us. This was a lot of fun. But you really want to know who you are as a person, what type of driver you are. From that point, you can start to fine-tune your build a little bit towards your personal preferences and your driving style. But trust your gut. Trust the line that you see, and have a plan B and a C lined up at all times.
Yes.
Have a way out. Or you do 2-man comps and have a badass driving partner like that. That's how I ended up. The only time I was in the final round on a Sunday, I owe it all to Joe, my man from Team Garage Hack. It was all him. I just got on a bumper and stayed behind him. I'm following this guy. He knows what he's doing.
Yep, and that's how I learned. I mean, my first competition was 2019 Sorka Nationals.
Wow.
So I went there, and it was nonstop 3 days of asking questions, watching people, looking at people's trucks, and just taking in so much information. And I would say 99% of the people, if not 100% of people at a competition, are willing to help somebody out. If you ask a question, they'll answer you. They'll tell you exactly what they're running. There's no secrets. We want the competition. We want to drive trucks together. So I'm never holding anything back, and I don't know anyone that is.
I love it. And that's what grows the hobby. You know, when we're working together and having some fun. Because at the end of the day, this needs to be a hobby where we're coming to decompress and let off the stress of the normal work week and have some fun. And if it's not fun, why are we doing it?
Yep. It's a hobby, and I just happen to make it a career. But it's still a hobby for me as well.
I love it. Wyatt, you are one interesting man. I will take the young out of it, you 25-year-old. Man, you, Wyatt, honestly, we are so humbled and so grateful for you to spend a little bit of time with us on your Saturday night. I know it's still early there on the West Coast, so go get yourself some dinner and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
But again, from my heart, I say thank you. We're so grateful for having you sit down with us tonight.
I appreciate both of you having me on the show and getting to answer questions for everyone. Get to talk to you guys. It's great.
Thank you.
I can't say any more. I'm thankful that I get the opportunity.
Well, all we're waiting for is the Pro build to come back in stock, and then
me too.
Well, you know what? Peter, this might be the thing. When we start building these Pro builds, we might have to bring Wyatt back here again. Yeah. Wait a minute, we're stuck right about here on page 1. Now what? So you might be back in this seat again. I'm telling you.
That's great. Yeah, I'll build one alongside with you guys. Maybe we'll do an extended live and we can build them together or something like that. Or
I'm in. I'm all in. That would be fantastic. I would love it. How awesome would it be to build one with you? Oh, all right, we're doing it. We'll start earlier because it's late here, so we have to start way earlier. Peter, sign them out of here. Wyatt, we gotta let you go. We can't thank you enough, and it's not goodbye. It's see you later.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you later.
All right, great. Thank you, Wyatt. And we'll post a recap tomorrow to rewatch the show and Axial's website and Horizon. Thank you. Wow, what a guest, huh?
Bravo! Bravo! I loved it. I loved every freaking second of that, Pete. Oh, let's pull us back there. All right, Pete, what's our time check? Where are we at here? 9:21.
9:20. So we can go right into, let's see, Scale Mail and RC news.
Yeah, we got some giveaways. We got some letter of the day to do, so stick around, people. About 10 more minutes, we'll get to all the giveaway stuff. Make sure you are subscribed. If you do not subscribe to the show, you are not qualified to win. And Peter's little fun tip was, don't make your account private. If you are public and we know who you are, it gives you a better chance to win. And also, if you do what Axial Scx did and update your Facebook profile picture when we share your comments to the screen, you get your funny little photo up there on the screen with us. So make your page public and update your profile picture. Go ahead, Pete. What's on the RC news? What's happening in the world of RC events?
RC events. So we got a couple events coming up. Mike and I talked about like putting a section just to put on everybody's radar upcoming events. So we got one coming up in our back home, which there's been some buzz about. So we got the RC Misfits Show and Shine, which is coming up at the end of this month in where is it? Jersey, right? No, on the border, right? Pennsylvania.
I'm calling it Philly. It's definitely on the outside.
We'll say Philly. So yeah, Mike and I will be in attendance in that event. Looking forward to that. Also got the big one coming up, Beat the Creek.
And that's next Saturday, correct, Pete? Misfits? Next Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Last Saturday of the month. Saturday of the month, a show and shine. Hey, I'm all in. Bring out the theme builds, come and hang out at RC Misfits. Joey runs a dope-ass shop. If you're in the area and you're watching the show and you're in earshot, come hang out with us. Carryall and Treal will have a display booth on site. That's right, Carryall will have their display booth set up for the very first time. So will Treal. Treal's very first sighting of their booth will be set up. So if you want to know all things Treal and all things Carryall, come hang out at the RC Misfits at the show and shine.
Yeah, that would be good. Beat the Creek's coming up in May. Also, the same weekend is our buddies at New Jersey Scale, King of the Castle. Same weekend.
Another great event. Another great one.
You mentioned King of the Streets taking place right now in Las Vegas. Saw some cool content. Our buddy John from Element, he's ripping those drag cars.
And it's for big money. Big money they play for. Man.
Yeah, it's some nice prize money there. Axial Fest Badlands in June, and we'll stop in July. Recon G6, which also we're planning on bringing the boots and the setup for that. So nice. Each week we'll as new events get posted, we'll put them in the mix, and we'll do like a 3-month interval. We won't go too far out, but that's some of the events coming up. Let's see, Scale Mail. I'm excited about these tires, right? So I'm sure people saw on the internet, RC 4-wheel drive dropped their Mickey Thompson tires. Opened them up today. Really impressed, Mike. Nice thread pattern, sidewall support. They did a really good job on these. I saw them on a couple trucks already posted. Some people have them. They look super scale. I got a nice build that these are going on. So picked up those this week. What about you? You got some stuff.
Oh, man, it's been a crazy, crazy week. The first thing I want to share was a little prize that we got from our good friend Donnie Fleming. That's how Flend came out. Fleming. Friend Fleming. Don Fleming, Gabriel's father, Donnie, sent me a present today, and I was so pumped to open this. I did the unboxing already. I know what the hell's in here. But I am super pumped to use these. Thank you to Mr. Don Fleming. He's doing some really good Wicked metal magic. This guy can put together a comp bumper, a rear bumper setup, his nice little sexy front bumper setup. I'm seeing some sort of pro build. I mean, I got the G-Speed flat rail over here. I told him, thank you so much, man. I will be honored to throw these on one of the trucks right away. Quality stuff, super sexy, super clean. I'll drop a little paint on them and, powder coat and ready to go. So that was fun. That was that. What else did we have? We showed off the stickers last week, and I had CowRc. Do you have a photo saved there, Pete?
Yeah.
Anywhere you can share your screen?
Yes, I do.
Peter's going to share the screen because there's no way on this planet that I'm going to be able to show this off. If you were one of the good people that got in on the pre-order of the carbon fiber themed edition of their, I guess they called this like a mouse pad we were talking about, right, yeah. Pete? Now I'm not going to be able to do this thing any justice here and be able to hold it up on screen, but I did take an earlier photo. If you remove that template, Pete. I lost my mouse down here. Show that. Whoa. Show the picture again and remove the overlay.
All right, 1 second.
Okay. There you go. Get rid of that. Try it one more time. So this is the carbon fiber themed one. I did take a photo and I submitted it over to Peter ahead of time to just kind of give you a little better visualization of it. It is marked, so if you're trying to keep your workspace tidy, everything's marked off where you put your little CowRc work mats in there. We got some of the new grease that he did. I know you've had it for a while, but he changed that formula. Got some of the cowhide wipes. Really stocked up on some of the CowRc product. After we had Tyler on a couple weeks ago to do the deep dive and talk about CowRc products and hanging out with Adam Ross, between the hide wipes and all the cool stuff that Heath has been doing, just to show him a little bit of support, restocked up and cleaned up all of my CowRc stuff this week. Beyond that, it's all been about the SCX24. The Treal wheels came. I mean, these things are these.
Which ones do you get?
I got a couple of them. Hang on, I got a couple. These are the 1-inch. They're comp style 1-inch wheel, black and red. It's all going to be a part of this theme. Extenders, hexes.
Wow. You're cleaned up, man. You got some hole there.
Bro, I mean, this whole bag is filled with parts for this. I mean, all the way down to these super sexy, here they are, right here. These are the portal conversion on the clear. I went with the, I guess they call it clear, the aluminum look. I bought them in both the front. This is the front style because it's going to go on the Axe edition. So I got both front style portal axles to convert this thing. Thanks again to Fishing Bill for dropping on the cliffhanger body. It will all come together. You can see the black and red theme starting over here. But yeah, definitely a big fan of these wheels. And there was I had one other set of wheels. I guess I didn't bring them in. They were a 155 wheel. I must have left them inside. But yeah, I've been cleaning up right over here. Just trying to stockpile some of the Treal stuff. And Peter, the RC CarAction magazine dropped.
Yeah.
I think the new issue of RC CarAction. Did you run the affiliate link earlier down at the banner? We'll make sure we get that out there. On the cover, we're always allowed to show with the cover. I can't go flipping through and sharing all the trade secrets inside yet. But the cover, big shout out, Scale Rat and Brock. You guys owning the cover here with a super cool, great article on what they did with this Phoenix. I mean, they squatted this thing down, turned the Phoenix into a super sexy scale performance truck. It's kind of right there in the heading, detailed and capable, but it's hot. Great article, good stuff, Brock, and good congratulations, Brock and Scale Rat, making the cover of the newest issue of RC CarAction, hitting newsstands in about 2 to 3 weeks. So good stuff.
And there will be a lot of familiar names in this issue, so definitely a good issue.
100% yes. Check out my new hat with the Carryall logo on it and that scale can.
Yeah, it's good for the
Looks
safari.
good, right?
Good for
Safari
those
look. We've been beta testing these guys. Just tinkering around with the Boonie style hat. Yeah, it's been a good week here, Pete. I can't complain. And then the last thing that we talked about was Carryall did get their booth. I will hopefully, if the weather, are you dying on this there, Pete?
Yeah.
All
Keep
right. So the last thing is we do have our booth. We will be setting it up next week, next Saturday. Drink some water, Pete.
Yeah.
But Peter, I think that's about it, man. We're hitting it close to our 9:30 hour. We can do the letter of the day.
You want to do the letter?
Yeah, let me throw out the letter while you catch a glass of water. Let me pull up my notes here. I got to go back into April 22nd. I do know what the letter is of the day, but I need to bring up my notes. So I'm about ready to bring you the fourth and final letter for this month. You need to go back and watch all three previous episodes to get the letters from each week from April 1st, April 8th, April 10th, and now April 22nd, Earth Day. We are bringing you the letter K. K as in karma, keeper, keen, the keystone letter, kayak, kind, kids, or K as in kick butt. That is your fourth and final letter. And the first person, we have until next Saturday. If you write it in the comments, if you've been following along week after week and suffering and torturing yourself, not torturing. If you've been following along with us week after week and growing, not suffering, growing with us, we thank you. But if you do follow along, you know the letters. Spell the word, let us know what it is, and you will win that Radrcahow Special Edition CowRc work mat. Little, I don't know what size that is.
Yeah, it's a mini set.
A mini set. Hold on. With the Radrcahow logo on it.
So here's the price.
Bingo!
Nice little set for an event or,
your workbench, your backpack, on the trail or at an event or on your workbench.
Oh, and I wanted to show these. I know I showed it on Facebook, but we also got a new donation. Thank you, Treal. We got some wheels to put into the giveaways. So we got some tutus, and we're going to throw in some patches and some banners. So
hell yeah.
We'll do a little Treal giveaway also. So we got more stuff.
What do we have? A set of 4 green and a set of 4 red?
Yeah. So
tutus.
Yeah.
Ooh. So if you got a rift out there, or maybe you got a rift looking for some tutus, you might want to win.
Yeah.
Scrolling up here into the comments, Pete, did anybody throw out the letter? Did they get the word?
No, they didn't get the word.
K it is. K as in kill, burn. K as in kill, burn. Kick butt, kill, burn.
So, and then also a reminder about the Smasher giveaway. Like we said in the beginning of the show, the winner from last week has not identified himself, herself. So she has until Wednesday of this coming week to claim the Smasher. If she doesn't, next Saturday, we're doing a live drawing. You have to be in attendance, and somebody's going home with a Smasher. So there might be 2 contests next Saturday. That's simple.
If you're in the chat room watching live, that is your biggest chance to win. Brilliant.
We got one word. We got one word, but it's not correct. Link.
Link. Okay. He tried. Jeff. And Jeff is the one that I thought was going to walk away with it for sure. We know Jeff is here week after week grinding, but it was not Link.
Here's another word. Luck. Nope.
Luck. Nope. Lucky guess, but nope. Good try. But I think it's a clean word. It was well thought out, but we did it by design. I won't go into my trade secret of how we pulled it off, but if this contest isn't done, we'll drop it. We won't do it anymore. But you have 1 week to go back, do your homework, watch all the episodes, look for the letter of the day, and spell out the word, and you win that dope-ass CowRc map. Peter, I felt like I had a ton of other cool stuff to do. You know what?
Well, we have tech tip. We could do the tech tip.
Oh, let the tech tip run while I get the next little thank you to Rick over at RC Snowplows. So you get your tech tip ready.
All right. So one of the things, for people that are seasoned and people that have been in a hobby a long time, a lot of questions. I'll give you an example. Last week I was out with a local club and they asked about lipo maintenance. This is a topic that comes up a lot, and the tech tip is sponsored by CowRc. Proper lipo storage is crucial. I mean, how you take care of your lipos. You saw stories online of lipos exploding, going on fire. I mean, I've seen them on YouTube. You plug your battery in and you walk away, and not in a lipo bag, and all of a sudden your house is on fire. I mean, I
personally know people that have had lipos catch on fire. It's a thing.
So, these batteries, I mean, I've had Powerhobby lipos for years, and they still charge up every time. But after I run these batteries, I drop them down into storage mode, and also a lipo bag. People think this is silly. I mean, I have 2 bat boxes behind me, but, storing your lipos, proper temperature, and also in a bag when you fly, and keeping them in storage mode. You'd be amazed how the longevity of a lipo, if you bring them down to storage mode. I mean, it's very easy to go out and do a 4-hour trail run and leave your batteries in the car. We've all done it. And then 9 days later, you're like, wow, I forgot to bring it down to storage mode. And, sometimes the batteries don't last as long. But and Mike, I'm sure you have a lot of Powerhobby. I mean, all the batteries I have, they still operate. I mean, I haven't had one die. I mean, so taking care of your lipos is a good tip. I mean, it's a very easy tip.
Storage mode. It's on your charger for a reason. Plain and simple. It is a setting on your charger for a reason. Use it.
Yeah.
And what Peter said, you want to make sure you use that lipo bag. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories of people just charging and walking away, and then, I mean, a lot of the chargers now have Bluetooth. I know we have Bluetooth, and
keep an eye on it. Yeah,
keep an eye
batteries
on it.
with chargers with all the bells and whistles. The who's who in the RC world, breaking down the internet. This little segment that we started, Pete, nominating people outside of your Facebook algorithm, ones that you might not be following already. There's a girl on the West Coast, Skittles. She's been a long-term fan of the Rad Show and doing a lot of great things. She makes some super great content. I think she is an excellent nominee for this week's Who's Who in the RC world. Who is the full Skittles? Peter, I don't know if we have our Instagram page available. Maybe we can get it up in the link. I wanted to make sure we did something ahead of time and I forgot. But we can share it in the comments tomorrow. A tag over to her Instagram page. If you're not following, I know Pete, you follow along what she's doing. She has some great tips and she makes some incredible good content. Big fan of Skittles. Keep doing what you're doing. You're an inspiration to us all in the RC hobby, right, Pete?
Yeah, she does, killer G-speed builds. I mean, so I follow her builds and her crawling, and she does some great work, man. Definitely worth checking out her page. Great builder.
Great builder, great person.
We got some more. Jeremy said lick. That's not right. I think a lot of people got to go back to 4 episodes ago. I mean, people are getting the second letter wrong. So,
yeah, I wonder. That's the only thing that was scaring me. It was like, why are they off on that wrong second letter? I hope I didn't mispronounce. No, that's why I do so many freaking blank what they stand for. So there is no mixing it up. So when we were at USTE, Pete, one of the things that we did was Rick Snowplow. If you follow him on Facebook, this guy makes some super cool snowplows. He got inspired to do a snowplow for the FMS K10, the little Chevy C10 K10. Oh, no, he did not. This son of a gun, this sneaky little devil him. I didn't know he was doing this. He did one for the SCX-24 also. What a devil. So he sent them both again. When I went down to USTE, I left them behind. I left both plows that he did, the one for Axial and the SCX-24, we donated to Horizon, back to Matt Higgins and his collection, so he could take it back to his office. And the straight plow, the functional straight plow, up and down, left and right, for the Chevy, the FMS Chevy, I left that with the FMS people, so Frank could take that around to different events and show it off. He found out that I did this, and he's like, nah, man. He's like, these were for you. I want to make sure you have them for your trucks. And thank you, Rick. Bravo. You are a man. I will get these moved over to an SCX-24 and an FMS truck all over again. It was a fun build to do, and we're excited. We'll have them ready for next winter. Not that I'm going to be moving snow in the wintertime with a little micro, but we'll get these things mounted up right away. And I'll get a big pile of flour down on a flat surface and push some flour around. Or a big ball, 8-ball, and push it around, chop up some.
Listen, man, it would look really nice on that K5 from FMS, the new Blazer.
You're not the only person that said that. Dreamer was like, dude, we should get it on the K5. Yeah. We might try that. If I could get...
new FMS is just, I don't know, I like that orange one, man. The orange.
Yeah, I know. I know. The orange is hot. The black is hot. I wish it was black with the yellow stripe. But the orange is hot. I'm not going to fight you on that at all. They're both hot.
I would take the brown one. I mean,
the brown with the yellow stripes hot with the white top. Well, or if you can take a lesson from Turks and Jerps, our guest Richard Lutz last week, you just paint everything. Just be done with it.
Just paint it off. FMS is at their expo right now, right? It's all over Facebook and Instagram. They have a expo in China, and you should see the booth setup. They got the Willys Jeep in the center of the booth, just like a Willys Army Jeep, and it's pretty rad looking, man. They're doing some cool things there at their expo. So yeah, that's all I got, bud. So yeah, make sure you share, subscribe, like, help us out. Next contest. Once we there comes the sound effects. I was waiting.
I was gonna take it out for a test drive. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We got a new sound effects board. We got a microphone working this week, dude. What a great freaking show.
At least he waited till the end to play with it.
I've got so many sound effects to mess with now. It's insane. I was very well behaved. I was very well behaved.
Could have went a lot worse, everyone. But so yeah, next week we might have 2 contests. It looks like. So definitely like, share, subscribe, help us out. Once we get past the FMS, the next contest will be at 1,000 likes, and we'll up the ante on that. And Mike and I were talking about sporadic giveaways. We still got garages from Hobbies RC. We got these trail wheels now. So keep an eye on our posts. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll see you guys next week. If you don't have anything else, Mike, besides that.
What a great show.
He waited all night to do that, I'm sure. So.
But that wasn't the sound effect.
Oh, okay. That was live. That was unscripted.
That was unscripted. Oh, that felt good.
All right.
Peter, yeah, I'll see you next Saturday live, homie. We'll be together.
So next Saturday, we're going to try to go live from the event. See if StreamYard, we could do it from the phone, or you bring your laptop, or
Yep.
We'll have to go off the phone as a hotspot. So live will be at RC Misfits next week. If we do cancel the show, we might postpone it to Sunday, because I know we got contests and giveaways to do. So we may go Sunday if we can't go live Saturday.
If anything,
look for the poster.
If anything, Pete, we might record it earlier in the day and post it live at 8 o'clock. That might be the way we can handle it, but we'll see how it goes.
The FMS giveaway, we might postpone that because that'll be live. But yeah, just look for our post during the week, and we'll see you guys next week, probably live on site.
Awesome. Give us an ending.